All right, good morning and welcome to this morning's special called meeting of the Anson County Board of Commissioners. I want to welcome everyone in attendance today and also the ones watching on our live stream. We're going to start today with an invocation. We're going to ask Commissioner Woodburn if he would lead us with that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you in the precious name of your Son, Jesus. Lord, we thank you for your grace and mercy that has allowed us to see another day. And Lord, we ask your blessings upon this gathering. Be with us, grant us wisdom, empathy, and courage as we deal with the issues of the community. And we pray that we will make decisions that's in the best interest of all. These and all of the blessings we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Commissioner Woodburn. All right, so our first item for discussion is on our animal shelter / animal control. Obviously, last week we know there was a lot of, I'm going to say, confusion and decisions being made on animal control. So I want to start by getting our manager to give us, if you will, kind of a briefing on what has happened, where we're at, how we got to this point. If you can fill us in, so to speak.
It's my understanding that a little over a week ago, 2 people left that was going to leave the animal shelter essentially without any employees but the director and 1 part-time person. And I had commissioners talking to me, asking me to figure out somewhere to be able to have someone to go out and collect the dogs. So I did. The 2 employees had never been taken off the county's payroll. So I reached out, brought them in, assigned them to the emergency management because I had been told by Miss Lett that she couldn't work with them or didn't want to work with them. In the meantime, I have seen Facebook, which I don't do. I don't respond, I don't post, I don't even take it. But I got a lot of relatives that do, and friends in this county and others, all the way down to Charleston, South Carolina. And they were asking me, and of course I met last week with a number of folks that are, quote, friends of the animals, as they say, and I don't doubt them. And matter of fact, a number of them were from not Anson County, they were from Charlotte. When I asked them why they didn't volunteer in Charlotte, they all came all the way over here driving an hour and change one way and then back again. They said because this is the closest thing to a no-kill shelter. Mecklenburg County and other counties around us kill dogs every day. I'm not saying that's right. But when we have animals that this county can't afford, because it's the most economically disadvantaged county in the Charlotte metro area, and you have people from the richest county, Mecklenburg, driving 50 to 60 miles to do what they do, I respect them for that. But by the same token, this county cannot afford to house animals for 400 to 500 days. And it can't afford to house animals from other counties, which is my understanding. So I've been chastised, which is okay. I can take it. I'm a big boy. It's not my first rodeo. So as you know, under state law, the commissioners are vested with the several responsibilities that I have to adhere to. One is organization structure. You can organize and reorganize at will. Same thing with a budget. I never adopted a budget in my life, and I've been doing this for over 30 years. Different places. So they're always adopted by a city council or a county board of commissioners. You can change that budget anytime with budget amendments, as you've done. All of you know, because you've done it for years. So that's how we got to this point now. So at this point, I would recommend that the board organize the animal control, animal shelter. I know there's different models out there that do work. From the way I see it now, this one's not working.
Yes, sir.
If it was, we would not be having this meeting today.
Yes, sir. Do we currently have an animal shelter director?
Well, I was told multiple times on Facebook that Miss Lett had resigned, and then I heard on Friday that she had rescinded her resignation. I'm not sure how you can rescind a resignation that was never submitted, because neither HR had it nor have I received it. And then Miss Lett advised Miss Ingram, our HR director, on Friday afternoon late that she was not resigning. Because all over Facebook it says as soon as Miss Lett's gone, that the commissioners and yours truly here, me, we would turn it into a kill shelter, which is simply not true.
Yes, sir. So, Ms. Lett, you're in the audience. Have you submitted a resignation to our HR department?
I have not.
Okay. So you're currently our animal shelter director. Okay, thank you. All right, so at this time, going back, you're saying that we need to approve the organization structure of animal control / animal shelter if we're going to reorganize it separate from what it is.
You can either leave it like it is, which is one way, or you can reorganize it any way that you desire. That's your prerogative under state law.
Okay.
And if I'm misspeaking, your attorney is right here.
You have that authority.
Okay. And currently, the organization structure is that animal control is handled under the animal shelter director. It's all one function of the animal shelter, correct?
That is the case.
Yes. All right. Any discussion from the commissioners on what's transpired versus how we need to move forward?
I don't know where to start, to be honest with you. So I guess current state, as of this morning, we have an animal control director, correct?
Yes, sir. Well, technically, I was told last week that animal control is no longer under me. It is now under emergency management, which is Rodney Diggs.
Okay, all right.
That was temporarily done until we could meet,
Oh, okay,
correct.
okay, so, all right.
which is what we're here today for, to decide how we're going to move forward.
What about staffing? I mean, is there anybody there besides, excuse me, besides you?
It's myself, and then I have one other person with me.
So just two people, okay.
Is that person full-time or part-time?
She's part-time.
That's at the animal shelter. I mean,
Correct.
that's just at the animal shelter.
Correct.
You're,
And then I'm under the assumption that there are two animal control officers under Rodney. Is that correct, Rodney?
Are they here? The two animal control, are they here right now?
They're not in this room, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, so we got people we got the director and a part-time person at the animal shelter, and then we got two full-time people at EMS? That's what I'm hearing?
Yes, sir, that's what you're hearing. Now, one thing I have to tell you is that the folks that are right now temporarily assigned to emergency management as animal control officers, they do not have access to the animal shelter. They don't have a key to the ranch.
Well, they're gonna have a key.
Yeah.
I understand that. They do need a key.
I think where we are, just to be correct, is that we as a board kind of need to make a decision on the order of operation of things, how we're going to do animal control, who will oversee animal control. I think, now from my perspective, I think that it would be a good thing to separate animal control from the shelter. I think that would be a good thing. But I think a lot of thought needs to go into it from this board of where we're going to actually assign animal control to. I don't know how we got to emergency services. I guess maybe that was the county managers doing at that time.
Yeah, I actually considered the health department, which is my understanding it had resided there in the past, but I thought since they've just recently gotten a new director, and that Rodney Diggs, our emergency management director, I thought it might be, because when the dog bites someone, that's kind of an emergency.
Right. Well, I think part of the issue when I looked into it, I think it was stated also that those that were hired for animal control didn't quite qualify to be able to work through the health department. I mean, I'm just telling what I was told. I think the board ultimately, to your concern, Commissioner Woodburn, is we've got to decide how we're going to do animal control. Because it was attached together for so long. If we're going to separate it, it's our job as 7 commissioners to decide where we're gonna apply that responsibility. I personally, this is just me and thinking about the safety of the citizens, because animal control is a public safety matter. That's in my opinion. I think that the sheriff department should handle it. That is my opinion, and my opinion of that is because in the event that we get a call and it's a vicious animal, or it's a threat to the public at that time, law enforcement has the authority and the right to put that animal down on the spot. If that is if the measures call for that. And I think typically, if there's a call, sometimes deputies have to go out with animal control. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So I mean, if it's going to require a deputy or somebody of that is, again, that's my opinion. And because then animal control can be deputized, because when you're writing citations, because if it's an instance of animal cruelty, they're enforcers of the law. They can write these citations, whether that's tickets, whatever. And if there's a situation where people need to be arrested because of the scenario that the animals are in, they have the authority to make those arrests. That is what I would feel more comfortable if it was ran through our sheriff department, simply because I feel it's more of a public safety matter than it is an emergency services matter. And then when I kind of heard the process of, emergency service oversee it, 2 roles of animal control, but then I looked at the roles and responsibility of animal control. Part of it was that they should clean at the shelter, the dog kennels. When it was posted, they were supposed to, look after the area there at the shelter. Well, now I think we would have to pull in maintenance people. Is that the plan? I just want to make sure what I heard is correct.
Right, I've talked to our facilities director, who's also the Parks and Rec director, and he agreed for his part-time people that could get additional part-time hours to actually do that, as opposed to having the animal control folks do it. I
Right.
think you're going to be hard-pressed, in my opinion, if you convince the sheriff's office to take animal control, to have deputies that are given the power of arrest, which they are, to go in there and clean dog cages.
No, I didn't say. I don't
didn't
think.
say clean dog cages.
I'm not looking for the sheriff department to clean dog cages, because animal control is not going to be cleaning the cages. Is obvious now. What I'm saying is, I don't expect deputies to be cleaning those cages. I expect them to be able to get a vicious animal off the side of the road, though, if that's the case. And if we have 2 animal control officers that are underneath their jurisdiction, they're technically officers of the law. That is what animal control is. These are really officers. So I'm not talking about them cleaning cages, but I'm saying even with the cage cleaning, I have a concern even for Wendell and them, because they don't even have enough staff to do what they're supposed to do. I'm trying to figure out how they're going to find time to even clean cages.
That's why I had to make a decision, and it had to be quick. And so that's the decision I made. If I was wrong, then I was wrong.
Oh no,
But if I was right, then I was right.
And that was pending a resignation from a shelter director.
Correct.
If we have shelter staff,
They can do
shelter
it.
staff would be responsible for
Correct.
that.
Yes,
We don't
sir.
need maintenance, parks and rec.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
Can I say something? When Wendell came to meet with me last week before he went on vacation on Wednesday, he told me that whether I left, they were gonna come help clean cages, or whether I stayed, they were still coming to clean cages, is what Wendell told me in our conversation when he came out to meet with me and brought his staff out there. So he said it didn't matter to him whether I left or whether I stayed, that they were still gonna be delegated to come out there and help with the shelter. Just, that's the conversation Wendell had.
So who was cleaning the cages before?
And Macy and I, yeah.
The staff never cleaned, but,
Oh, yeah, we clean.
okay, all right. What, you have some vacancies there now, correct? How many vacancies do you have?
We have 2 full-time animal care attendants and, well, an animal care coordinator. And then my part-time staff, when I put my notice in, they also put their notice in.
So have they rescinded their notice if you rescinded your notice?
If I was, Macy rescinded her notice because I was staying, and she made sure that she went in and cleaned with Parks and Rec. This weekend, she went in with them and she showed them how to clean, and they all cleaned together. And then she rescinded her notice. And then Corey said he would rescind his notice if I come back. Yeah.
So, full-time, 2 full-time, 2 part-time is what you
3
have.
full-time, 3 full-time, and 2 part-time.
That's your total staff.
Correct.
And how many of those are vacant? That's fine.
So, well, if you take animal control away from me, the one animal control position I have, then I have the animal care coordinator, 2 full-time kennel techs, and 2 part-time kennel techs.
Also, you only had one animal control officer.
And, yeah, and 1 part-time animal control officer. And I think that part-time animal control officer spoke with Miss Katie, Miss Roslin with HR, and said that he was, putting in his resignation too, if I left. That he wasn't, the only reason he was coming down to help out for Montgomery County is because I was here.
So it was one part-time animal control and one full-time. Okay. So this is where we get those 2 positions from.
Okay. So if you were fully staffed at the shelter, there is no need for Parks and Rec to be there cleaning kennels. That's what I was trying to get here at. We don't need Parks and Rec cleaning if
Brenda
she's
has
staffed.
enough.
Right, right.
But they're willing to come
That's
and
enough
help.
But
Yeah.
yes, they were willing to go and help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once the manager asked for them to help out
I'm still
in the event that we needed some
How?
help.
They did. And
Yeah.
they came in this
I know, he already busy working out the house.
and the 3 that were cleaning this weekend.
Okay.
But there's also only 8 dogs in the shelter right now. I removed all animals last Friday, all cats were, sent out. And then I have, 5 dogs leaving for rescue. 2 are going to Greenville Humane tomorrow, 2 are leaving. This afternoon. So that'll leave 3 total dogs in the animal shelter that are still looking for placement.
So
Were all 50 of those from Anson County?
Unless, I do bring animals in from other places. If we have room, my thing is, you guys are paying us, whether we have 5 dogs or we have 50 dogs. I mean, honestly, the county's paying these people, pay me, pay the people at the animal shelter to sit around. We're not gonna sit around. Like, if we can bring another facility and Friends of Anson County Animal Shelter is paying for 100% of the food that we're feeding the animals at the shelter, there's no reason not to help other animals if we have the ability to. I mean, if another county, we get in the bind and we need another county to help us, then, Montgomery County's helped us, Stanley County's helped us. Yeah, Charlotte's helped us. I mean, we've reached out to other places, but we need help, and they help us. And if we can help them every once in a while, then I think we should help them every once in a while if we can. I mean, that's a good working relationship with them.
But when you start getting the dogs out, as you say, how many dogs was in the shelter at that time?
When we got them out this past week.
Yes,
We had no, it's not 51 dogs, we had 51 animals.
51 animals, okay.
31 dogs and 20 cats.
What's the max capacity for the shelter, give or take, an approximation?
By the state, it's like 127, I think we can hold at one time if we're at max capacity, and that's doubling up kennels. That's like putting 2 dogs per kennel.
How long can they stay?
There's no state anything saying that dogs have to go after 5 days or 10
Oh,
days.
okay. Because I thought I heard the county manager say something about they was overstaying or something.
Yes, ma'am, but you've got us, which is Friends of Vincent. We're the ones that provide a lot of the medication, and we provide almost all the food.
Oh, and Friends does provide all of it.
We provide more because the county, we understand it's hard for you guys to split the money. So
was just fixing to say, we have a lease agreement somewhere, Mr. Forbes.
It hasn't been finalized.
So,
No, the only thing wrong with the lease agreement, it had an indemnification clause in there that we wanted to change just a little bit of it. We just hadn't reached the point where we had agreed to it yet.
okay. I remember seeing a lease agreement too.
You've got volunteers that drive, but sometimes they need to go if volunteers are working. So it's kind of an upside down situation. Because vans were given to us through Friends to use for the animals for Hampton County, to get them out of here. I mean, you don't want to kill these animals after 10 days, 15 days, if we can get them rescued.
That's correct. So,
It was a kill shelter years ago, and before 2014, it was a kill shelter. Every Friday, they took the dogs out and sheltered
He's
animals.
stupid.
And it's been changed when the citizens of Anson County got together, and we absolutely bombarded the shelter, came to the commissioners, which some of you were not there then, some of you were, and said, we need help. So it stopped from being a kill shelter from 99% kill per 100 down to 2. We are 2%. And that is the greatest thing for Anson County, because no other county can beat us right now on rescue, foster, adoption. I mean, you guys right now are sitting like the heroes of Anson County because we're accomplishing it.
I would agree that statistic is very remarkable. I don't think anyone in the state can compete with that. My question to the Friends, would the Friends entertain leasing the shelter from the county and you running the shelter, the Friends running the shelter, just as you've been running it already?
If you're going to allow us money to help do it, we cannot do it on our own because we cannot raise that much money. You're talking about Friends consist of maybe 10 people that do all this work. So you would have to allot us an amount of money in order to run the shelter, which means it's tax deductible for you guys, and it would give us the ability that we could go, Mr. What is the gentleman's name that approached me?
Oh, Nick.
Yes, Mr. Nick approached me and said that if we received 500,000 per year, we could also get a grant, which is called a Leasing grant of 500,000. So if we had money to run the shelter as Friends, could we do it? I'm sure we would talk about it. We talked about it last night. We had our own little meeting. Could we run it if that happened? Possibly, yes. Possibly, yes. But on the other hand, sirs, we have to bring up to you, when your officers go out and pick up some of these animals that have all their teeth pulled, their legs broken, some of them, yes, have to be put down. Some of them we do save. But if you have an officer that is cruel and hurts these animals, how do we know, justify it's the people that might go to jail, might get a ticket for the animal control? So you, as the commissioners, have to be careful on who you put as animal control, because if they don't have a good reputation and they hurt that animal, then whose fault is it? The commissioners, the shelter, or the people that own the animals? And the other thing, the last board meeting I was at is, put on your taxes a fee, make them list every animal they have, and charge them $5 for their taxes for their animal. That would give the money to the, they would have to register. Some people have 20 dogs, llamas, donkeys. Make them list the animals they
That
have,
makes
dogs,
sense.
and then file a tax on it. Make sure they have a rabies tag, so we don't get rabies in our county.
Miss Morton owns property in Hanson County, but she also lives at Lake Tilbury, and on her taxes, she has to register her pets
Yes.
with Stanley County.
And I pay my $5, I don't care. You know, and if your dog is deceased, you write them a letter. My dog is deceased. I've got a new puppy I rescued. That puppy is now registered. I will pay my money for it. This will give money to the county that you could help the shelter.
That's right.
That,
Yeah, that's true.
that is the opinion. And if you would help us put up 51 metal doors, then which we have already bought,
There was a
$48,000.
grant, it was a grant.
It was a grant. You don't have dogs looking at each other. When you take one pit or one shepherd out, you've got all these other dogs trying to get at it. So these doors will prevent the animals from seeing each other, which would stop a lot of chaos. So who was gonna put it up? Were the volunteers and the staff members. So I asked you if y'all would like to come help us put up 51 doors, metal doors. I would totally appreciate it. Or if you have somebody in Anson County that can help us block, park and rent. And now, right now, it's husbands, boyfriends, and women.
I've already discussed this with Wendell Small, our Parks and Rec Facilities Director, and he says, and he's inspected them, and there's boats that are missing, and we talked about that a week ago, and you said you would order them, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, if you do that, and once you get those, then Mr. Small and his staff can put the doors in, so you don't have to.
Well, we don't mind, sir, we do not mind working, rolling up our sleeves, and we've got more volunteers. I've got a volunteer that looks like a brick, a huge brick. And he said, I'll pick up that door and put it in, his name is Gut.
I'm sure he can do it.
On steroids for like 25 years. And he said, I'll pick up the door, I don't care. And I'm sure he would. So we've got volunteers that will help. Parks and Recs can't do it by themselves, sir. Those doors are heavy, you gotta drill.
And then they got a
10
lot of
bolts.
young people.
10 bolts in it, you gotta move the dogs, right now is the time. 3 dogs, we get them out, cages are empty, we can scrub them down with bleach, clean them, get these doors put up, and it's a lot easier. But think about helping the shelter by giving it to Marie, letting her run it with the help of all of us that have been there for the last 17 years.
I don't think there's no doubt that Miss Leck can run the shelter. She's proven that. She's the best in the state. And there's no. This board didn't choose to replace Miss Lett. We want Miss Lett to stay there.
Yes, sir, but you can't, it's hard to work with people that do not wanna work with you. If you have chaos, sir, you cannot, a group cannot work with chaos. And I know a lot of people have come and gone in the shelter.
That's correct.
But the county commissioners, you're not there, so you don't know why these people have left. Women have fist fights that you don't even know about. Women get ill at each other for whatever reason. Could be boyfriend, could be girlfriend, it could be anything, and they leave. Don't pay enough, don't like to clean the cages, don't wanna do what they're supposed to do, wanna take the day off. I could go over and over, and I know this because some of my kids have worked the shelter, you know? So I know Maureen is tough, I'm not telling you she's not tough, she's hard. And when she says, do it, even to the volunteers, we listen to her, because she does not want us bit, she does not want us to be slack. And if an animal doesn't have all of its shots, and if an animal shows any sign of aggression, if we don't listen to her, we get bit. I don't like getting bit, but it's okay,
Yes, ma'am.
that's our job.
Thank you.
We were talking about, like, if they lease it to rent, could we afford, or could we do that, or whatever? The problem is, I don't know who's been out to the shelter recently or whatever, this is an old building. Like, we have to be, frank here, we've done a lot of upgrades. Francis put the bill for a lot of stuff, we've had a lot of volunteers come in. But at the end of the day, in fact, we were in the back cleaning this week or whatever, my dad and I. It's really hot back
What is the budget to run the animal shelter right now that's been applied by the county? What
390-some thousand.
It's 398,761 to be exact.
$398,000
$761.
$761.
And that includes our salaries.
That is what the county is putting into the animal shelter.
Right.
Now, what about the friends?
Friends.
How much, just a rough estimate,
So
the
Friends
past
has-
12 months?
That's a good
Friends-
question.
Friends has spent $24,000 in food over the last 12 months. I spent $1,117, I think, every 3 weeks on food. We have an account with Phillips out of Greenville, South Carolina, and we order food every 3 weeks. Sometimes we have to bump it up based on what we have in the shelter, but, every 3 weeks, that's what it costs.
Spayed and neutered.
Yeah,
Spayed and neutered.
yeah, the gas for the van.
The gas for the van, the insurance for the van,
Yeah.
medicine, if the dogs need medicine.
Or vet, so we have, I think it's 3,500 is what the county allows us for vet services. So any dog under state regulation, if it comes in injured, then we have to treat it, like we have to get it vet care. So we had one dog that an owner turned into us that had a massive tumor. And yeah, the county could have euthanized that dog, but I mean, the dog was highly adoptable and a friendly dog that everybody liked. You know, why not try to get that dog a home? So Friends raised, and Anson County Advocates raised the $1,100 to have the tumor, removed from the dog and, and that. So I mean, there's a lot of animals here in the county that are neglected that we get brought into the shelter. That it's not fair just to euthanize them because they're not perfect or they don't have, they have injuries and things like that, they can be treated, they can go back out and find happy homes.
And if friends are short on money, then your people from Anson County pay them ourselves in order to say, like, a dog is shot in the face, or a dog has both legs broken. Then we pay it out of our own pocket just to give that animal a chance. Because I don't know how many people are dog lovers, but I mean, for the citizens that showed up this weekend, there's a lot of people that are dog lovers. And that, and raccoon. They got raccoons too, and
Living creature deserves a chance. If they're adoptable, they deserve a chance. If we're willing to find the funds for that, they deserve a chance. And that's why we're at 2% euthanasia.
Well, Ms. Lepp, I have a question. I heard you say we go out of town to get the dogs euthanized. Why we don't use the vet in the county or the neighboring
No, we
county?
don't go to town to euthanize. The only time we go into town to euthanize is if we pick an injured animal up after hours. Like if animal control goes out like on a Saturday night and it's like 10 o'clock. Friends pays for us to take that animal. We usually use veterinary emergency services over in South Park. And we get that dog seen by a veterinarian right then and there when it's picked up. And based on, and my sister and I've been out to pick up a dog that someone's called about taking it to vet. And, I listen to the vet's recommendation, what they say, and if and it's not always about the finances, it's about what's right for the animal. And if that vet tells me that that animal needs to be put down, then we put that animal down. Yeah, we use Brown Creek to euthanize. When we euthanize, Brown Creek euthanizes for us.
What about-
And I'm certified to euthanize, but there again, we had some problems in the past with employees asking too many questions about drugs that we keep in the shelter that the DEA can come in and get the county for and myself, and I'm not taking that responsibility. Orange is not my color. Pink is, orange is not. I'm not going to prison for somebody mishandling scheduled narcotics and things of that nature. I'm not doing that.
What about spaying and neutering?
If you don't mind, I'd like to make it clear that
Please.
there are no drugs to be broken into to get at animal shelter.
There are
There's no illegal DEA drugs.
I was open.
My father's office, people believe that. I just want to be clear. She has decided not to use that stuff. That's at somewhere else's office.
So spade and neutering, do we do that in county or out of county?
We do that out of county. Low, because it's low cost,
So the reason you go out of county is because they offer the low cost.
$50 and
Okay.
$70 for females, yeah.
We also do the chips, friends supply the chips. So if your dog is lost or behind a dog, we can find out where this dog is. But there's another little bitty problem I don't think the commissioners are aware of. That building is in a flood zone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Anytime a hurricane or heavy winds come in, this group has to run there, load all the dogs, cats in cages, and move them to our personal homes or in vehicles to get them out, only because we have to move all the food. And I praise our fire department, oh, I've got a big voice, you don't have to do that. We have to take all the food out because we don't have food storage. We've got wooden buildings. We're trying to buy like an 18-wheeler trailer that we can put food in, because when a hurricane comes, we have to load all that food up, all these animals, and move them because that whole area floods, and we've got hundreds of pictures. And I think we only lost one dog that one time, didn't we? But we got two snakes. We lost one dog, but we got two snakes, right?
Net positive.
So, I will say this as far as the Friends. I mean, I appreciate everything that y'all do and all the help that y'all have provided to that to get that kill percentage down to 1 to 2%, because I know that y'all donate a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of effort into that. And what is there now would not have been, what you have now at that shelter wouldn't have been without y'all. I understand that completely. And if y'all left out and the county had to run that shelter to try to get up to those expectations, it wouldn't happen. Because we are in a poor county. We are in a tier 1 county. Our funds are not allocated to that, because we couldn't sit up here and say, yeah, we're going to provide all of the services that the Friends do and disregard other services in the county. I mean, you've seen our budget for the past years. We don't have those funds to do that, so that's why I say very much thank you for what you do provide and doing those services for those animals, because it wouldn't be doable.
Mr. Lear, thank you for that.
Yes.
And Friends, I mean, we're pretty strong, and without Lorraine, we couldn't have all the grants, because she has got the brain power to write the grants. But we do the fundraiser, and next time we do chicken dinners by Mr. Livingston, I will be coming up here asking you to buy a ticket.
Yeah.
Or if we have a chicken pot pie, this is how we
We're
work.
not doing pot pie.
So,
But that's the fundraisers that we do have. Or we have events. We have children come out there to read to the animals. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. We take the animals to different events up in Charlotte, to the different colleges, and it says adopt me on it, and it's in county. There's so much that goes on that I think is not aware. So maybe when we do have events, maybe when we do something, maybe we should bring it to you and
Yes.
this is what we're doing. Anybody would like to show up?
Maybe we should do it and bring it to us. That would be good. So
Or
we know what's going on when they have an event.
PayPal and give a little donation.
So,
Friends,
And Friends does a lot. I mean, it does go through the shelter. Like, I know we get food, people donate food to us, like Tractor Supply will donate food to Friends. And we took it to DSS, and we took it to child support. And for the last year and a half, I've been working with Wanda at, Gray Senior. We put out food, they break down food and put it out for Meals on Wheels and stuff like that. So, I mean, we do a lot for the community, 4-H comes out there, the school comes out there. They asked us to come down, I think, July 31st, we're supposed to be at Gray Senior Center to take a couple dogs down there for the. I mean, we try to do a lot in the community, free vaccines, free microchips. We're. Oh, yeah, we have, and then, I have a partnership with, Dr. Elizabeth Welch. I met her years ago at Stand for Animals, and she comes down She comes down once a month and she spays and neuters between 40 and 50 community cats. Yeah, so we're trying to keep that, trying to do that TVNR and everything like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
The spay and neutered cats, we're able to put in different barns, because once they're fixed, cats have survived, they don't care, they'll eat anything. And if we put them in barns, then they'll eat the rats, and that causes a lot of your pest controls to go back down. So,
And
all
all-
of this, I mean, it's a group effort.
The, and all of that work is what contributes to the shelter's success. And that's why we all agree that Ms. Lett is the one driving that ship. And if we need to take a vote of confidence today from this board, I'm assure you that it would pass, because we all believe in Ms. Lett's ability to run the shelter.
There's an enormous amount of volunteer labor that we can also sacrifice if the state decides.
I agree. So, it doesn't work without the volunteer staff.
I was highly impressed by the operation y'all have over there, to be honest. And I noticed that if she was to leave, it was going to be a great deal of people walking away from this operation. And so I just want to tell you, I've said it before, I mean, kudos to you. I mean, everybody don't have that passion and that drive to do what you do. That's not what's in question. And I guess for the sake of me and as a commissioner, yeah, I think that it's important for us to be able to make a decision on what we're going to do with the animal control aspect of it.
And it's not. I mean, you guys have privy to all county employees' salaries and everything like that. I'm sure I'm probably one of the lowest paid department heads in this county, and I'm fine with that. It's never been, when I took this job, I was making a little over $30,000 a year as a department head in this county. And it's never been about the money for me. It's about doing the right thing. So, I mean, I'm not asking for money. I'm not trying to pull this stunt to get more money or anything like that. I want what's right for the animals. And in the email I sent you guys with the video attached, I do not think that is the right thing for this county in animal welfare. I do not think animals being treated that way is the right look for animals in this county.
Was that employee trained by the
That-
animal shelter?
Not by the animal shelter, but that employee is trained and has multiple certificates and training and yeah, many counties he's been an animal control officer.
But you need to check the reputation of this particular person.
I'm not against using catch poles. I've used catch poles myself to vaccinate animals in the shelter. Any one of these volunteers that have seen an animal come into the shelter, and I think myself or one of my employees is going to get bit, we're going to use a catch pole to protect ourselves. Correct, humanely. But dragging an animal that will walk on a leash that has been non-aggressive across a parking lot, not even making...
Excuse me, not to be rude.
Yes.
That sounds like an employee issue that I don't think we should get to in an employee.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I'm not being rude to you, Maureen.
Yeah. No, I know. I understand. Yeah. And I don't want to be on the hook. I don't want to be liable for something like that, because at the end of the day, when the state comes in to inspect the county, the state is coming in to inspect me and see what's going on at the animal shelter. I will be on the hook for any liable issues that happen with animals. It is me that they come in and inspect. It is my paperwork that they come in and inspect. It is our records that they come in and look at. And if I can't trust somebody, then I can't trust somebody. I don't want to be liable for somebody else's actions.
But you won't be liable for their actions if that employee does not report to you.
But that employee,
Ms.
but
Lett.
that employee
Yes,
would
sir.
have direct contact with them.
As the department head for animal services, are you on the interview panel for prospective employees?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
are. So you have a chance to interview these
do.
individuals, review their credentials, background checks, and things of that nature.
I don't really think we do that background checks. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do background checks. I mean, I'm not. I don't usually call around, unless it's like, I mean, yeah,
The state
it's more of
usually
an
do that.
HR.
It's not.
I'm used to HR doing
Yeah, it's
background
not.
checks.
She's
and all
not
that kind of
supposed to
stuff.
do it. It's HR.
Yeah.
And we have our HR director in the room as well. She could speak on that.
May I just ask one question? If animal control is put under the sheriff's department and they're considered an officer, if they carry a gun, what is to stop them from just shooting the animal on site and not knowing the whole situation and not bringing it back to the shelter and just making a report saying that it was a bad animal?
I'm not. Yeah. Well, I mean, and I'm not. I don't want everybody to think that I'm not against euthanizing animals. I mean, I'm totally on board with euthanizing animals if animals need to be euthanized, and we can do. Animal control officers can do field euthanasia if field euthanasia presents less harm than transporting that animal to a vet, and I'm not against that. But the person needs to be trained, and the person needs to know how to handle a gun and stuff like that. We just don't need people willy-nilly having shotguns and things like that out there shooting animals, unless they're trained properly. It's just like you have to be certified to use a tranquilizer gun. I mean, we have one at the shelter, but you have to be trained and you have to be certified to use it. And lots of times you can do more damage using a tranquilizer gun than setting a trap for an animal, to be quite honest with you.
I would agree with all that. And my question is, what prevents the sheriff's deputy who's toting a gun from shooting a citizen just because they think they're a bad citizen?
Yeah.
Because they have the correct training and they have the correct supervision and a sheriff.
Yeah.
It will be the same thing with an animal control officer. And listen, I'm not done.
No.
We're not the only county trying to implement this.
Yeah.
If you look across this state, the majority of the sheriff's department handles animal control. We're not trying to reinvent something. We're not trying to start something new here. So I think we have plenty of examples to look at and say, this is effective. This is how it works. So to answer your question, Ms. Morton, it can be done appropriately. And that comes with training and supervision.
Yes, sir.
And I think we can do both.
And I think animal control would be better under the sheriff's department. I mean, honestly, I do. I think animal control should go under the sheriff's department. The sheriff's department went out and helped us with a criminal case, a neglect and abuse case here in Anson County. And I mean, Sheriff Howell was at the meeting, and I asked him how many officers he had out there for this case, and it took 7 officers to prosecute, to get this case taken care of. So I mean, if it takes 7 officers, I mean, we have lots of neglect and abuse cases.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think what we need to do is we need to task the manager with setting a committee together that involves our shelter director, our sheriff, our health department, and whoever's over animal control at this point, which would be emergency management today. Those, what I call department heads, need to get together and develop a plan on what animal control would look like in this county. I think that's the most effective method, is to, one, have it under the sheriff's department. That way we can recruit highly trained officers who can enforce the laws and hopefully will prevent some of this animal neglect on the front end. If we can start preventing on the front end, it makes your job easier as shelter director on the back end. You don't get all the animals coming in there. That's my opinion, and I've made no bones about it for the past 3-4 months we've been discussing this. It needs to be in the sheriff's department. Unfortunately, we don't have the authority to force the sheriff to take it. That's why I think we need to come together collectively and develop a plan and see what it looks like.
And
Mr. Chairman,
I would suggest adding the HR manager and Ms. Morton.
Somebody from the
Someone
Friends.
from
From the Friends.
Okay.
to be part of that group.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, speaking of Friends, I see a lot of new faces here today, Ms. Morton. Would it be appropriate just to introduce the Friends, or at least raise their hands, those that are Friends?
Well, you're not gonna like it, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is about it, but I'm fixing to go to the Express and put on Facebook, thank everybody for coming and showing up. But don't just do it when there's a problem.
That's
Do it
correct.
all the time.
Correct.
If do, and the county commissioners are bad, and all that, that's a bunch of junk. It's get your butt out there, instead of using your mouth, use your hands. That's just what I would say as president. We have a good group, a solid group, and we stay strong.
Thank you.
Mr. Woodburn had.
Christy Newton and Barbara.
Yeah, I think I got it. I was gonna say, well, add, make sure the friends is included in that group.
After we finish with the conversation, after they finish the conversation.
Help us here.
Don't be playing, I ain't be all day with you.
If we need transport, getting animals rescued, we will stop by and take an animal for us. So we work, I mean, we try to work with other counties and other shelters and that,
And I'd like to speak, I mean, Richmond County, so I can stay quiet, but Maureen doesn't ask, I'm loud. Maureen doesn't ask anything from anybody that she doesn't do herself. She holds herself to a very, high standard, and she expects the people that interact with the animals at the shelter to be of quality too. And, again, I mean, if she wouldn't do it, she wouldn't ask them to. If they do not feel comfortable, she doesn't ask them to. Everybody aspires to be what Anson County has, and they can't do it because they don't have Maureen. And plenty of people have tried to poach Maureen, but Anson County is her shelter. I mean, we call it Maureen's shelter. We don't really, she has put y'all on the map like you wouldn't believe. And as far as she needs, yes, definitely the sheriff's deputies are going to be trained, but she needs somebody that's willing to work with her, whether it was her or not, but not to drag animals in, not to be cruel, to carry them if they need to be carried, to walk them on the leash. If they're not aggressive, if they don't come in as a bite dog, they don't need to be on a catch pole. Because when they get to the shelter, then the shelter staff has to deal with the mental issue that dog just came in with, and that can make an animal aggressive. Being brought in on a catch pole can make an animal that otherwise would not be aggressive. But Maureen mostly runs this shelter on grants that she writes for herself. She spends hours. I've talked to her at 3 a.m. What you doing? Writing grants, getting this ready, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to take them to, to take them to be spay and neuter. She's not paid for that. I would never do half of what she does for the money she makes. And again, she doesn't really care about the money. It's not about that. It's about helping her community. It's about helping these animals. It's working with people, and she can be hard. But Maureen, again, will not ask anybody to do anything that she doesn't already do. And she's good to everybody. The ones that complain generally are the ones that aren't doing anything or doing it wrong, and she said something to them about it. Because, she won't be above getting on me or anybody, her dad, her mom, her sister. Maureen is fair. She is very much fair. And just supporting her, y'all supporting her. You see all the people that showed up. I went to the shelter on Wednesday and Thursday, Maureen, and the parking lot was full. I had to pull around back and block somebody in. She has the support, and Anson County will not have the support if she's not supported. If Maureen walks out, there's not going to be anybody. You're going to have to kill them all, and then you're going to be talked about. Richmond County, y'all see the mess that Richmond County's had, and you've got a prize. You've got an amazing person with her. She just needs the support and the backing, and not chastised for what she's doing. So I appreciate you listening, but yeah, she's amazing. Everybody wants to be Maureen, and they just can't do it. So.
Sure.
I would like to say
Thank you.
something before you go into client. I want to personally thank Maureen and the friends of the family, and piggyback off of what she said, how she brings the dog food to DSS and child support. She brought it, I think it was about 11 o'clock. We put up a flyer on the windows, free dog food. It was gone within 2 hours, and it helps the community. That saves money, and it wasn't cheap dog food. It was expensive dog food. And I just want to personally thank you and the friends for all y'all do, because you really do a lot for our community. We can't thank you enough for all that you do, and we really appreciate you.
Give Ross the thing.
Excuse me. I worked with Maureen about 6 months out there. Commissioner Gatewood, Commissioner Woodburn, and Attorney Ford know about the shelter some years ago. We was on Channel 9 News and all over the state. People was talking about us, and I was sent out there to help Maureen. She was out sick at the time, but she came back. But this lady know how to run a shelter. She's good at her job. She's tough, but like others have said, she just asks people to do their job. And the friends, Miss Morton and others that have worked out there, worked with them, they do a good job, and you all couldn't run this shelter without them. I know. I've been out there. I was out there 6 months. And if you lose this lady, like others have said, Anson County is #1 when it comes to animal shelters. I visit Chesterfield Shelter, Richmond County, and it's nothing like what she does. She and I went down to Chesterfield and looked at what they had. And if you all get a chance, go down and look at that shelter. It's something you all will really just go look at it. But again, I'm here to support Maureen because I know the job she do out there and the job she do for this county.
And Ross and I didn't start off on a great foot, did we, Ross?
Mr. Leary. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, Ross was sent out there to fire me.
I understand.
So, all right. That's good.
Thank you. Mr. Leary.
All right. So going back to where I was at earlier, didn't get to finish quite. The shelter, and like everybody that's talked to me this week, I don't know if anybody's sitting in this room that talked to me this week, I have no qualms with Maureen running the shelter. They've asked me, I said, I hope she doesn't leave the shelter. You do a wonderful job running the shelter. Ever since I came in November, I have been hounded by multiple people about animal control. I've been asked, we need animal control. I've got dogs in my yards, nobody's coming to get them. I need these dogs picked up. We've dealt with the towns over it. We've had an animal control issue in the county, right? I don't know what the perfect solution to that is, but, and I'm not trying to be mean, I promise. I've been here since November. I know this was going on before I sat in November here. We've got to do something about animal control in the county, and we've talked about it. We're about to start billing the towns for animal control. We can't bill a town for animal control if we don't have animal control. All right? So from November to July is 8 months, and we're still struggling with animal control. What Mr. Chair just presented about setting up a committee for it, we've got to figure out something that's going to work. And I would love, and I'll second it, or not making a motion, but I would love for the Sheriff's Department to pick up animal control. If Sheriff Howell listens to me right now, I would love for the Sheriff's Department to take over animal control. That's not something, again, that we can force onto the Sheriff's Department. That's going to have to be their decision. Secondly, if the Sheriff's Office won't take it over, hopefully that we can sit down with a committee and come out with a reasonable expectation of assistance from the Sheriff's Department, Emergency Management, Health Department, whoever's going to take a hand over that. And if it comes down to it in long term, if we have to set up our own Department of Animal Control, then we'll look at the budget and figure out what that looks like. But we have to have animal control at the end of the day. And I think that's why we all ended up here this morning, is not because of the animal shelter.
No.
We ended up here because of animal control.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
What's going to happen, hopefully, heaven forbid something happens, we're going to start getting sued by this county because we don't have animal control. I'm just laying the facts out there. It's going to hopefully never happen, but that could happen if we don't have animal control.
But
So we've got to figure out what we can do with the committee, setting it up, moving forward about animal control. And I think setting up a committee with the Sheriff's Department and everything that you said is the first step at making that happen, and figuring out what we can make temporarily work until we have a permanent, a fixed solution moving forward. Yes, sir. As far as the Sheriff's Department taking over animal control? Any department? Well, we have the budgeted positions that were already for animal control positions, right? So that's the start of it. Is funds there? Yeah, we have to find funds available somewhere. Yes, we do have to find funds.
We're already
We-
funding the animal control position.
You're right, that's what I was
So,
saying. It's
one of them.
already there for the funded positions. Correct me if I'm wrong, we have 2 trucks that were there for animal control?
If you're talking about moving, and I'm glad you brought this up, because it's my understanding, and Ms. Let's here, she can correct me if I'm mistaken this, but I'm not.
Yes.
She doesn't want to work for the 2 that I have moved under emergency management in a temporary fashion, okay?
Right.
That's been clear. So I guess that's where I disrespected her whenever I put them there, because we didn't have anybody that would collect dogs and process animal control. So I need you all to let me know today where y'all want to put them, and then go back and make a motion that you'll have to fund whoever's going to take them out of the funds, that $398,761 I've already mentioned, as you alluded to. And then I want to know exactly who you want on the committee. I heard at least part of it, and what I got so far was the animal director, sheriff's office, health department, HR manager, and Ms. Morton. If there's any more than that, you have to let me know.
And whoever is over animal control at the conclusion of this meeting, whoever that would be.
With that,
I think we need to go into closed session, so we
Can I ask a
discuss
question
that.
before you, before you guys go into closed session? You guys said about them not having keys to the animal shelter. The reason they don't have keys to the animal shelter is because they quit and they put their keys on my desk, and that's why they didn't have keys.
Excuse me. Employee matters.
This is, yeah.
We can go into closed session.
So, but now we don't have to talk about the employee relations issues. I want to talk about the governmental structure of animal control, and I think that's a conversation we can have in a public setting because this is a public issue. Now, I don't want to talk about who's working where, when, how.
But that's going to go back into the employees, so we need to discuss that in closed session first, and then we can come back in and discuss it.
Well,
But
I think first of all, what Commissioner Ellerby is alluding to is let's determine the positions needed.
Yeah. I mean,
It has no bearing on who's in it,
there's no
what they're
bearing on
doing, and how
who's
they
working
operate,
where.
and all that kind of stuff.
And
What are the positions
yeah.
that's needed?
Some things I think will need to be decided in a public forum where the citizens of Anson County can see what we're thinking. We're elected to be here. And and being elected to be here means there's some conversations we need to have with the people. That's just my thought process on it. Now, I do have an issue with some things being said that the sheriff won't take it. Now, I have not had a conversation with Sheriff Howell, so I don't even know that to be true. I would like Sheriff Howell to come have a conversation with us because I don't like the fact that it is being told to us he's not going to do it. I want him to say to me, to us, I know the sheriff that is an elected position, but we're being elected officials. We got to have these conversations because there's an election coming up, and the people need to know why you don't want to do or whether or not you will do. And I don't mean that in no way, but as you know, these people that we are serving, our citizens, they need to know where we stand because they're casting their votes. And if you voted for me to be here, I don't mind you understand because when I get emails, telephone calls, Facebook messages, I don't like to have to tell a citizen I don't know. And there's no reason I should be sitting at this table as an elected official and things of decisions or whatever being made, whatever kind of way they're being made, and I don't have an adequate explanation to give to all of these citizens. I found out about some of the changes through a citizen that knew me personally and that is an avid supporter of Friends and is a volunteer and has contributed a great deal of money, and that's where it got to my attention. Now, we've had this conversation about animal control that we know we've got to do something. We're getting ready to put that tax levy on these municipalities, but we've got to make sure that we are providing them with an adequate service, and we need to have a discussion about what that looks like. Now, I know we're saying we can't force it on the sheriff, but it is the job of the 7 people sitting at this table to put order and structure to the government of Anson County. That is our job. When we make a decision on where animal control will be, how animal control looks, and I agree with the committee aspect, because you can have information from your health people, your EMS, and what effect that has on them. Because to a certain extent, when I think about our EMS, emergency service director, to me, I feel it's unfair to him. Just all of a sudden, he's over animal control. I don't know what he knows about animal control. I don't know. I mean, and here he is. He's showing up at a meeting because right now it's been applied to him. And how fair is that to him? Not just as an employee, but as a citizen. So I think this is a conversation we need to have concerning the structure of animal control, what that looks like. And if we need to go in closed session maybe to discuss some personnel issues, yeah, we can do that. But I like to have this conversation about animal control in a public setting so that people will see what we are thinking, why we are thinking that way, and what we're going to do about it. Because I'm tired of dealing with it, be honest with you, when we can just make a decision on where we're going to put this to rest, and let's just get it done. I mean.
What is your solution? What do you propose we put in animal control positions?
I think because animal control, they are technically called officers. Is that not right? Animal control, aren't they really? Is that title of them an officer or?
But without being assigned to a department like the sheriff's
Yes, sir.
office, which is not a department, it's the office of the sheriff.
I understand.
If they're assigned there, then they can do arrest from a criminal perspective. Otherwise, it's civil, which does not carry the same weight.
I understand. But at the end of the day, the sheriff department will be involved anyway. Somebody's going to have to notify them to come. That's all I'm saying. As she said, there was a scenario where they ended up with 7 officers out there. So if they're coming anyway, and then furthermore, I understand they're not a department, but they are funded by the county. I understand the whole makeup and that. I get that, but we control the budget and things of that department.
And I don't disagree,
Yeah.
because in other locales where I have been county manager, the sheriff's office has provided animal control. But they've done it with a lot more than 1 or 2 officers. I'm serious.
All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, if they have it, I'm assuming they now have the ability to do what it takes because it's their responsibility.
Cross-train them.
And I mean,
We get cross-trained.
we approve positions for different things in these different departments, even when we probably we came out of a freeze to make some different changes at times. Well, this is one of those things that we've got to address and we've got to make the appropriate changes.
It's under the sheriff's department. Does that include the city? So are the sheriff's department going to go into the city? Because I've been to a lot of
What-
city council meetings.
They
hearing
would
about-
have jurisdiction.
The sheriff has jurisdiction.
All right, so
Yeah.
they'll have jurisdiction.
But technically, the sheriff has jurisdiction within the county. So yeah.
And that's part of the contracts that we're
Yeah.
talking about, billing municipalities, providing that service. That's all we've been discussing. As you well know, we've been discussing that for several months now. So this isn't a new issue that just started overnight.
That young lady want to say
I
something.
think the other thing too is the original question was, what is the correct title of an animal control person? That was your question.
It's an officer. I know it is.
We still
Yeah.
have people that call and refer to them as the dog catcher.
Right.
But being politically correct, they're animal control officers.
I know it.
Okay, all right. And the other thing too, I think, this committee, once it gets into this thing, should be all encompassing. Everything needs to be looked at.
Mm-hmm.
And then come back with the recommendation of this is the way we feel it needs to be. And then we say yes or no, or adjust it if need be. But I feel
Right,
like with a
right.
good committee, they'll put something together that
Proper research.
we'll go along with. I mean, because as has been said, we appreciate everything that everybody's doing, but we're in a position where what we've got apparently is not working as best it could.
That's right.
So we need to build on that.
Travis, let me add, I hate to keep harping.
Well, that's fine.
This is a well-oiled organization.
Right.
It's been working well for this county.
That's not the problem.
When something's working well and then stops working well, it's usually other people.
Exactly. Okay.
So that needs to be addressed right in the beginning, is to
Yeah, that's why I said, it need to be all encompassing. Funding would be a part of this.
And let me say again, you all do a great job, do a fantastic
Absolutely.
job with the shelter. Now, I want to say this as a commissioner. The shelter is being ran to the best degree that it potentially can. With the passion and concern that you have for animals, I don't think that it's within really the capacity of Marine nor the shelter to handle animal control. And again, I'm thankful y'all came. I've talked to you all, had conversations with you all, and I let you know from the get-go, I am really for animal control being under the control in a department where we can regain that control. You all, I don't feel, have that passion, that aspect, and I understand what the real problem was is not how you operate, but who you would end up having to do it with, without going without saying. So I want to make it clear that we don't look at you all as a problem. The real problem is not what is happening when the animals get to the shelter.
No.
The real problem is how do we get animals that we're getting these calls on from the side of the road, in town, wherever. How do we get them picked up to get them to the shelter?
Yes.
Well, safely, of course. Of course, we want to do that, but that's the real issue. So,
Okay. Miss, you got one thing, and then
Just one thing, you're talking about like animal control. I think part of the problem, I understand completely that Kingston County is a poor county. I totally get that. I'm no longer living in Kingston County. I live in Union County. Part of the problem with animal control, doesn't matter who it's under. I don't care if it's the sheriff's department, the shelter, fraud, even emergency services. You guys have postings for a job online for an animal control officer, and that's a big salary range. If you look at that posting, I think it starts at like 30-something thousand, and it goes all the way to 60-something thousand. I'm guessing it's based on experience. Right now, we're bringing animal controls in, and the county's wanting to hire them on the low end of that totem pole. There's a saying in life, you get what you pay for. I'm sorry, I wouldn't come in, I'm gonna be frank with you guys, I wouldn't come in and take a job at $30,000 when there's a salary range between 30 and 60. I'm not gonna be that low man on a totem pole. I wouldn't do the job they do. So at the end of the day, I think we kinda need to look at that, and maybe we need to meet people in the middle at that point, or we need to, if we're gonna start at the low end, we need to bring that top end of that salary range down, so people don't think, okay, well, obviously they don't think I'm worth anything, why are they only gonna pay me 30,000 when the salary range goes from 30 whatever to 60 whatever? I mean, let's be honest, all of you up there, would you wanna come in and do that at the low
No.
end of the salary range? Probably not. I know I wouldn't. I'm not gonna do that. I mean, I can go to McDonald's and make that kind of money, no offense.
well, to your point, that is the reason that I will restate. To your point, that is why I feel the sheriff department is a safe place for it, because there's already a starting salary
Correct. Correct.
department that would be adequate
Correct.
based upon what has already been approved by this
And it's like
board prior to now. So
Correct.
I'm agreeing with you on that. So if we get this assigned again to the right department,
Yeah.
that the pay matches the need. It's just so many. And I mean, I know we're not going to get anybody
Oh,
in
right.
here for $30,000.
I mean, that's what we're doing though. We're hiring people in, starting them off at the low end range. I mean, that was part of the reason, Austin, his name's Austin. He's the one part-time that's employed with the county that comes over part-time from Montgomery County or whatever. He would come here if we would pay him,
let's don't mention employee names.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't know I shouldn't do that. I don't go to these meetings. But anyway, if you've got a great person, and if we could, come to an agreement to match an individual for their worth, they would be willing to stay, or they would be willing to come. But at the end of the day, nobody wants to come in making that kind of money when you can go, like I said, you can go to McDonald's. I mean, you can walk into CVS and be a cashier up front and do absolutely nothing and make $16 an hour. My husband works high up in the city of Charlotte.
and I get it's Charlotte. I understand their budget's totally different. Right now, you can be the garbage man on the back of the truck, or I can empty the trash can in here, and I'm making $25 minimum pay an hour, no experience. An 18-year-old can come out of high school, start at the city of Charlotte, and make 25. I get that those are surrounding counties. I know in Union County, animal control officers, they start off at like $60,000 a year. And here we're starting people off at 30. I understand we don't have the money, but we can meet in the middle, I feel like. And when you do that, you get a quality individual that's willing to stay and willing to do their job and willing to put forth the effort. If you're going to pay minimum money, you're going to get somebody that doesn't want to do anything. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, I'm just going to speak the truth about it. I mean, if I was making that kind of money, I'd think, oh, I don't have to do anything because I'm, not making but next to nothing when the salary range goes all the way up to 60. I
Right.
mean, do you guys agree? I mean,
So I totally agree with what you're saying. But can I make a motion to go into closed session to talk about those personnel issues?
Before you make the motion,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to make a statement.
Sure.
Number one, like everyone else has stated, I really appreciate the work that Friends does in Anson County. Without you, we would be lost. I also appreciate the work of Ms. Maureen Lett. It's interesting. She's been the animal shelter director since it opened.
Becky was there before me.
All right, well,
I came in after Becky.
all right. Becky was there for a short time, but you've been the shelter director since it opened, in my opinion, okay, based on your performance. And not only has Ms. Lett done an excellent job of managing the animal shelter, she started at Parks and Recs as a teenager, a lifeguard. She's been associated with Anson County for many, many years. And it hurt me when I learned that there were rumors that this board wanted to push her out. We wanted to fire her. And that's just totally untrue.
Untrue.
And to solidify that, I'd like to make a motion of confidence in Ms. Maureen Lett as the animal shelter director in Anson County. That's my motion.
I second.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor by Mr. Gatewood as a vote of confidence for Miss Maureen Lett as our animal shelter director, and we have a second by Commissioner Woodburn. Any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I would like
As it is unanimous that I told you that this board supports Miss Lett and her mission as our animal shelter director.
That's right.
I want to stress that the shelter operations is not the topic of discussion today, and it has not been the entire time. It is animal control, which, as Mr. Leary stated, he's been here for 8 months. I've been here going on 3 years, and it's been the topic of discussion since I was elected here. So we are trying to take adequate steps to improve animal control for this county, which in my mind, and I've had this conversation with Ms. Lett, if we have adequate animal control, it's going to make her job easier as animal shelter director. There's no doubt about it.
And I agree with that. I mean, me and Mr. Letts and Mr. Osman, we talk all the time. But it bounces off because I get the phone calls when they can't get anybody to come out and pick up these dogs where the citizens are complaining on the sheriff's office side. So it is out there, and the issue is animal control, not animal shelter. It's never been an animal shelter problem. It's always been animal control. And where do we go from here to get dogs picked up and get them to the shelters, what everyone is saying? But Ms. Lett, friends, y'all do a great job in what y'all do out there. Even Mr. Streeter said earlier he went out there to help out. I remember that right before I came on the board. That was going on. So, I mean, I get it. But like I said, the problem is animal control. We were charging the municipalities to pick up their dogs, and that wasn't happening. So we got to get to the point where we can figure out how we're going to get them to the shelter for y'all to take care of them.
It's not feasible to have one animal control officer for the entire county. And I've been coming and telling you guys, one person can't do that and take calls 24/7 because you burn people out. Like, to put in a lot of hours, it's not feasible for one person to do that.
I agree. So,
And I think you guys have a really good thought.
yes, ma'am. Last one.
I had this really mean little sucker named Kobe, like this big, that would eat anybody up. Had teeth like except Marie.
And a Kimi,
And a Kimi. Just two people woman that is making so much money, and all she does is post this mean little sucker that you couldn't touch. And now he's in Canada, of all places, on Facebook all over, that he came from Madison County.
Yep.
That is awesome.
His owner has 11.4 million followers, on social media. She also has OnlyFans, whatever that.
That is just a testament to Miss Lett's networking of capabilities. But
Oh, we're gonna do.
all right.
He was mean, Stephanie, he was mean.
All right.
I'd like to make that motion for us to go into closed
Yes.
session.
Second it.
We have a motion to. All right, hold on. We have a motion to go into closed session. We have a second. Any discussion? And I'm gonna hear one last.
I want to say that this is not Lynn's fault. He's just been in the hot seat, okay? He's done an excellent job for this county. And he should not take any blame for this.
Thanks, Charles.
Thank you. I want to say before we take a vote, I do appreciate the Friends of Anson, the animal shelter volunteers, all of your work. I think if nothing else, this last week has proven the capabilities that you as citizens can do for this county, and I agree with you 100%. Don't just come when we have an issue. Be there all the time. If we see that kind of support all the time, it's only going to get better. It's only going to improve the situation in this county. So thank you, and thank you again to Ms. Lett for the job that you do as the shelter director. All right. All in favor going in close? Yeah. You got to tell her.
I know it, I'm just playing. Tell them.
Mr. Chairman, do we need to come out of closed session?
I made the motion. Somebody
We
second.
can't vote in closed session, so we'll do that when we
Come out.
come out.
Not yet.
Do we make the motion to come out of closed session on camera? I thought we come out then.
Well, yeah, we were doing it that way, but then we were told we gotta
Supposed to record it.
get everybody back in place.
Yeah,
and then make the
yeah. I
motion
know
to
we
come out
can't
of
vote,
closed
but I'm
session.
saying I thought we had to
We can't vote on a motion in closed session. So
not
you'll
to,
make that
not to
motion.
even come out of
Don't
closed
call
session.
up here.
Oh, okay.
Wait till we leave.
She down there waiting with the cameras.
I'm not saying they're not here, I'm just saying they're not
There
here.
she
There
go.
you go.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Ellaby.
I make a motion we come out of closed session.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Ellaby to enter back into the public session. Have a second by Commissioner Mims. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, at this time, we're back into public session. Any other business to conduct at this time?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we keep the temporary assignments now for the animal control, and also, as we talked in closed session, about making the committee to foresee the future of animal control.
Okay, so your motion is to keep the temporary assignment of the animal control positions under emergency management, and also to develop the committee of the members that were mentioned before,
Yes, sir.
which was open session, which is animal shelter director, HR director, sheriff, health department director, and animal control director, which would be emergency management.
And Friends of the
And then
Animal
a advocate or someone from the Friends of Anson Animal Shelter.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, we have that motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Have a second by Commissioner Lil Reed. Any other discussion on that?
I'm not too sure if I agree with it. So, I just want to make that clear. I'm not too sure that this is going to be a temporary fix for it or whatnot. I'm worried about the pressure that could be on EMS, Mr. Rodney Diggs, just being thrown at them and not having any background in it.
Okay. Just to clarify, it's not EMS, it's emergency management.
Emergency management, emergency services, yeah.
Okay.
Same thing.
So, no, it's two different departments.
Okay.
So,
So it was applied to who?
emergency management.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
not, has
And
nothing
that,
to do
and
with
that is my
EMS.
concern, because emergency management is to look to the emergencies of and the well-being of the citizens, and animal control is not something I think that should fall under.
Okay. Any other discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Have one dissenting, so motion passes. So the animal control officers will temporarily be reassigned to our emergency management department. We will, the manager, you've been tasked with setting up the committee of the before mentioned names, and you'll report back to us with the indication on how to move forward.
And the animal control officers will have access to the shelter.
Yes, animal control will coordinate and work with the animal shelter. Animal shelter hours will remain as usual, normal business operating hours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
All right, have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Ellaby, second by Commissioner Little Reed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.